Well, hello there and welcome to this video. I thought today would be interesting to take a look at the Gemilai Owl and just kind of see what's inside the machine, how it's built, what kind of materials does it use, stuff like that. One of the first things that I like to do when I have a machine that's got metal sides, metal panels, is just to see how well grounded it is. So we got a ground pin right here, and what I'm going to do is just check for continuity, because what you want is for anything that's metal to be grounded here to the ground pin so that the electricity, if there is any, would have a path to ground, right? The reason for that is if any wire gets dislodged from its connector and would end up here on a side panel or a top panel, it'll go to ground instead of going through your body. So let's just have a look here and see what we got. This side panel here is grounded. The top panel is grounded. The other panel is grounded. Even this lever here is grounded. The front panel is grounded. Even this dial here, grounded, grounded. The metal touch points are grounded. So kudos to Gemilai for grounding the machine properly. Well, anyway, before I take this apart, I do want to mention, don't copy me. If you take apart your machine, you may be voiding your warranty. You yourself are responsible for your own health and also for the correct functioning of your machine. I'm also going to show you where you can adjust the overpressure valve or safety valve, I think in this case. This was shown by Eric, the coffee guy, so you can take a look at his video if you like. Just know that you'll also be voiding your warranty, most likely, if you do that too. I do have another disclaimer. If you're taking anything apart, make sure that it's been off for a long time, that it doesn't have any heat, doesn't have any pressure inside. Remove any parts such as the water tank, get that out of the way. Anything removable, take it off. And make sure, of course, that it's unplugged too. So getting into this guy, it's really quite easy. There are just a couple of screws down here. I'm gonna use my fancy Milwaukee screwdriver and remove these two screws here. Now I did this once before, and I'll tell you what, you do have to be careful. I actually cut my thumb pretty good because this is stainless steel and it's laser cut stainless. So we use laser cut steel at my work too, and sometimes customers complain and say, Tom, have them sand that down or deburr it because it's sharp to the touch. And yeah, there's tension here. You can see that, good amount of tension. So you got to be careful here. Use gloves ideally. And what I did actually is I took these panels off and then I took a little Dremel tool and I just ground off that laser cut edge. Anyway, what you're going to see here on this panel is one ground wire, so that's why this is grounded. I'm just going to remove that guy. And I'm going to remove also these two connectors to the switch as well. And now this panel is off. All this is here is just simply a switch. So we've already got the machine halfway exposed. Let's expose the other side right away. And again, this is under tension, so you want to be careful, wear gloves if you do this. And this one, of course, also grounded, which is a good thing. Now we got the other panel off. And I also sanded down this one too. So there's just 4 more screws on top. And those are machine screws, not plastic screws. So they go here into the metal, therefore they're tapped for the metal, and they're a different type of screw. Okay, so now we got a little bit better look inside. Let's see if I can take my little camera and just give you a little bit better view inside this sucker. Alrighty, first thing is first, this is the inside of the Owl, and I thought what we would do is just have a look at some of the materials. Okay, so like most cheaper thermoblock espresso machines, what we got inside are PTFE lines. That's what this is right here. This is a cold line here going into the top of the thermoblock. PTFE is just a fancy word for Teflon, by the way. Then we've also got here silicone lines. This one right here is going off of the overpressure valve, and that's going to end up going back down here into a manifold. So we got PTFE, we got silicone. Then we got the thermoblock here, which is made on the outside of aluminum, but you can see here this is a different metal at the exit. So actually there's coils inside this guy, and the coils get heated up, and the coils are actually stainless. So that's a good thing, that the water path inside this guy is stainless. We also do have some brass fittings, as you can see right here. We got a brass fitting, we got a brass fitting over here as well, and we also have a tap coming off of this brass fitting. This is actually copper going off, and it's wound here with some kind of black casing. Not sure exactly what that is, but anyway, all of that copper line here is going to the manometer. So it is nice that we do have use of brass and copper, and we also have some stainless in the machine. You can see here we got a brass fitting going onto the steam wand, which comes out here. We got the nice long powerful steam wand. So those are some of the main materials used in the machine. If we just take a look at the water path, I think that's also kind of interesting. So this is where the water path initiates. So this is where the water tank attaches to. And you'll notice that it comes out here, out of this, I'm guessing that's a plastic fitting, and it goes around here to the input of the pump. So this is a silicone line. I've got it marked with a blue arrow. So that's ambient temperature water going into the pump. That pump pressurizes the water, of course, that's its job. And these pumps, they can pressurize up to about 15 or even 19 bar, but you don't want so much pressure, right? So if it comes out of here, and if it's at the right pressure, it's going to go up through this line here, which then goes to the top of the thermoblock. But if it's overpressured, so this is the overpressure valve right here, or also called safety valve. So if it's over, let's say 13, 14, 15 bar, then it's going to come up out of this silicone hose and go into a manifold right there and end up coming out of a hole here on the front side and go into the drip tray. So that's what's happening there. Anyway, this is still ambient temperature water. Now it's pressurized and is going through this thin PTFE line here into the top of the thermoblock and exits on the other side over here. So now it's heated up and it is going right here to this brass fitting right there. Now from this brass fitting, it can go either to the right, like so, and over into this brass fitting, or it can go here to the left and down this way on the left side, down this brass fitting and downwards, depending on here what this solenoid is doing. This is a two-way solenoid. So anyway, if it comes out of this side, then it's going to come down this PTFE line and go here to the steam wand. If, on the other hand, it goes in the other direction, it's going to come to the other side of the machine over here where we got this brass fitting, and again we have another switch here. This is a three-way solenoid, and it is in a three-way fashion because you do have also a discharge here at the top. Okay, so based on what this solenoid is doing, the water, here's the input, it can go, you know, in one of two ways after that. It can either go this way or it can go this way, right? So the water, this is the heated and pressurized water. It's going to go down this way and enter into the brew group here and exit here out of the bottom of the brew group and make a tasty espresso for you if this solenoid is so switched to go that way. It may also be switched, however, to go this way. So in that case, that is after your shot is done here, you need to release the pressure. So then the solenoid is going to open up. It's going to block this path this way, and it's going to open up this way, and it's going to, the extra or excess pressure and water is going to go off the puck down the silicone tube into the manifold down there and come out here out of the bottom of the machine. pretty nice. And you're also going to see some electronics in here too. So we got this board here. I will say that the board, you know, it's not protected. It's not in a plastic case or anything like that. It would be nicer if it was in a plastic case. And I got a little board on the top here as well. One more thing I want to point out on the inside. You got these wires here. So these wires are actually going to two heating elements here inside the brew group. And that is what makes this machine pretty awesome, is that this whole guy gets heated up. And that will give you tastier, better textured shots, in my opinion, sweeter shots. Very nice. And finally, something I nearly forgot to mention, which is also very important, is that we do also have, right there, we have these two black wires that attach right there, and that is the exit of the thermoblock, and that is also where it's pulling the temperature for the PID control. All right, now what I thought that we should do is actually look at how to adjust this safety valve or overpressure valve, because I looked on Reddit and a lot of people are interested in this. So let's see what you got to do. First of all, as I mentioned in the takedown part of the video, or teardown rather, you have to remove all that plastic or rubber gunk out of that screw inside there. And there's also some inside the actual cross hatching of the Phillips screw. You got to get all that out so that you can properly place a screwdriver into there. Then what you want ideally is to have a blind disc like so. So you can just put it into your machine, and that's going to stop the flow of the water. Then you can start your shot and adjust so that you get up to, let's say, 8 or 9 bar. So we're gonna turn it clockwise to tighten it essentially, and to reduce the pressure from, let's say, 12 down to 9 or 8. So it goes up to, yeah, right around 11. And if I turn this clockwise, you'll see it go down a little. You see it acts as a gate. It just doesn't allow it to go any higher than a certain value. Right now we're about 9 bar. And it seems to stick there at 9 bar there. Let's just stop it. You see the pressure goes back down because the overpressure valve opens up. And if we try again, you're gonna hear a lot of gurgling down here, by the way. So the gurgling is because the safety valve or overpressure valve is putting extra water that's over the pressure that we want here into the drip tray. And there we are at, getting close to 10 bar. Just turn it down a little bit more. Now we're right just before 9 bar. And that's probably about where I would leave it. Let me just try again. See, it's not super consistent. This time it only makes it up to, let's say, 7.5. Starting to make some weird noises. So I'm not totally sure that I would recommend adjusting this overpressure valve, and that may be the reason that they put that material on top so that people don't screw around with it. So do that at your own discretion. That sounds a little better. That sounds better again. Again, guys, if you do this mod, know that you're probably going to ruin your warranty, and do it at your own discretion, and be really careful. I mean, there is electricity here right now as I'm doing this, so I can't really recommend you do it. Just take this video as entertainment only. All right, guys, I hope the video was helpful for you. If so, give it a like and consider subscribing to the video. Until next time, I wish you happy coffee drinking and happy espresso drinking. Bye now.